Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Tacoma. Is everyone back yet? Let's get started. My name is Lori Irwin Johnson. I am the spiritual leader for you today, and I use the pronouns she and her. So it's good to have you here, whether you're joining us live right here during the live stream, or if you're joining us later in the week or you're watching on YouTube. It's so wonderful to have you because there's something really powerful that happens when we join our consciousness together, not just sharing the same space and the same time, but just being together in intention is exactly why we're here. So no matter when you join, whether it be now or later, it's the right time for you and it's the right time for us. So thank you for being here. Victoria is unable to be here today, so I would like to go over some announcements. So we do have a gathering that will be happening on August 23rd. We'll be meeting at the Parkland Spanaway Library at 11:30 a.m. I'm trying to remember all of this because Victoria is really great at it. 11:30 a.m. on August 23rd. So we'll be at, again, the Spanaway Parkland Library. We're going to get together. We're going to meet. We're going to be talking about what we're going to be doing in the fall and faith in action, and just get together and maybe have some cake because it's my birthday the next day. So I'm really excited about that. So that's going to be going on the 23rd. And then we meet again next month to do sandwiches for the unhoused. And we meet at Surge, which is 54th and South Tacoma Way in Tacoma. And that is at 11 a.m. in the morning. And we will be meeting on September 13th. Now, normally we meet on the first Sunday of the month, but there is a conflict on that day. So we will be doing it on the 13th instead. So September 13th, which is a Saturday morning at 11 a.m. at Tacoma Surge, South Tacoma Surge on 54th and South Tacoma Way. And we meet to make sandwiches for the unhoused and then just make sack lunches. And then they go to Nativity House to be distributed. So we're really excited about this outreach and really excited for the fall because people will be coming back from their vacations and we'll get to see people again. So it'll be really nice to get together and start that program in full force once fall comes. So make sure that you write that on your calendar, September 13th, Saturday. All right. So before we move on, let's go on with the prayer for protection. So I'm going to share my screen again. And for those of you who need the words, they will be on your screen. All right. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. And wherever we are, God is and all is well. So as we're sitting in this time of prayer, let's just close our outer eyes, if that's comfortable for you, and get settled. Take a breath and just feel yourself right here, right now. Because in essence, that's all we ever really have is this moment. Even just a moment ago, when I said these words, that moment is already passed. So when we remain in the moment, we feel comfort, we feel support, we feel grounded, and we're able to be present with all of those people that we are with. And so during this time of prayer, it allows us to be present with the divine within, to go within and to find our true, authentic selves, and to be able to commune with the divine. And during this time of prayer, we work from gratitude. Gratitude for the people that are joining us today, gratitude for the people that are joining us later this week, and gratitude for those people who couldn't make it today, for whatever reason. We hold them in love and light, seeing them whole and healthy and enjoying their lives. So it's with gratitude I say thank you. Thank you for all of you who have joined us. Thank you for all that we have and all that we experience and all that we learn. And so it is, Amen. I have found a wonderful song I'd like to play for you today that's going to go with our discussion. Our title today for our discussion is Being Your Authentic Self. And so I know that the phrase get tossed around a lot. We hear about it on YouTube, we hear about it on TikTok, we hear about it from our self-help books, and we're always looking for our authentic self. But we're going to be bringing Unity's understanding of what it means to be our authentic selves and to just realize who we truly are. And in solidarity for all those people who are trying to be authentic today, I decided not to wear makeup, and I didn't curl my hair, and I am being my authentic self. So I did shower, but this is authentically me. So one of the things I did when I first started working at Unity Worldwide Ministries is I decided I wouldn't wear makeup to work. I wanted to show up as I was, and as I was every day as I would truly be if I weren't working. If I were home and I was just being myself and I was just representing in the world, this is me. This is what I look like each and every day. So here I am, and we're talking about our authentic self. So I thought I would show up that way. And so here I am. So I want to share with you a little video of a song that I found and I really loved it. And I want to share with you. So please sit and just in wonder and to listen to the words. And if you need to, the words are on the screen, you can read them as well. So let me share that with you.
I was searching, I was looking for meaning. I was wondering, desperately trying only to see I have nothing missing. Who said I have to find who I am? Who said that I am lost to begin? My motivation can't be validation. I'd always be starving for more affection, the wrong attention, only to feel like I am nothing. Who said I have to find who I am? Who said that I am lost to begin? For the
What a beautiful song. It is a song called I Am Already Enough by Fearless Soul featuring Rachel Schroeder. And so I will put the link in the description on the YouTube channel so you can access that song if you would like to. And it's also on Spotify and on Apple Music, so you can get that information from following the link that'll be in the description. So beautiful song. All right, now I'd like to share our affirmation. Their affirmation, again, goes along with what it is we're going to be talking about, which is about our authentic selves. So let's say this together. I live from my authentic self, the Christ within me. I am free. I am loved. I am whole. Let's say that again. I live from my authentic self, the Christ within me. I am free. I am loved. And I am whole. So, as I was saying, as I started off today, that I have decided not to wear makeup today. I have been wearing makeup since I was 12 years old. And I thought that, and that was like way back in the day when it was, okay to wear makeup at 12 years old. And I've been wearing makeup since then. First started off wearing mascara and maybe a little lip gloss. And then it moved into full face makeup and huge eyelashes and thick eyeliner, and went through that 80s stage of lots of fluffy hair and all of those things that you were expected to look like when you were a teenager in the 80s. And I'm sure that's wherever you are, whatever time period you're from, I'm sure there were expectations of what you were supposed to look like when you were a teenager and beyond. And when I got to be older too, when you get into the business world, you have to look a certain way. When you become a minister, you have to represent yourself in a certain way. And so you never really know for sure if you're being authentic when you're always putting on the mask. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. But you know what I really love is I really love seeing the representation of real people in the media lately. And more so, I think it's because people are really getting tired of seeing things that are not real. So you get on TikTok, you get on Facebook, you get on Instagram, and you see all these beautiful people with all these wonderful hairstyles and perfect makeup and all of that. And you're like, oh, wow, do they crawl out of bed like that? You know that they don't. And so we really want to be able to see authentic people. I want to see you as you are. Not that I don't appreciate good makeup, because I love to put makeup on for fun, to be able to see how I can make myself look better. But why am I doing that? Am I doing that for myself, or am I doing that because I want to impress or I want to be accepted? And so it just depends on the day. Most of the time, if I'm trying a new makeup technique, it's because I want to, because I think it's cool. I want to see how that works. But sometimes I'm like, yeah, I got to do that. And I got to present a certain way. And so that doesn't come from the authentic me. That comes from the expectations of other people. But what I really love is I'm seeing a lot in the media these days, even on television, that there is representation of real people. And even though it seems like they're not perfect, they're not, their hair's not right, that is specifically designed for us to think that they look authentic, when in actuality they have, probably spent 3 hours in the makeup chair so they can look like that they're not wearing makeup. So, but one of my favorite television shows on TV right now is Shrinking on Apple TV. And I love, if you get a chance to see that, I love that show. There is so much diversity represented on that show. It's so inspiring. There are people with disabilities, people who are working through mental and physical health issues. There are people with gray hair and wrinkles, and interracial couples. There are gay marriages, diverse ages that are represented. And it's just beautiful to see all of this interaction of all these different people in this life. And I know that doesn't really exist in real life, but it would be nice if we could have that. So I always like to watch that show just to give me an upliftment and give me some hope for the future, that we are moving in a direction where we can actually be our authentic selves as we are in a society where we're accepted and loved, and we are all one, just like we want to be in unity. Now, one of the people in media today is really embracing her true self, and her name is Pamela Anderson. Now, you probably know Pamela Anderson, and I'm going to share my screen again. This bar keeps coming up. So this is Pamela Anderson. This is her in her heyday. She was a Playboy model and an actress. She's been on several television shows. Most notably, she was a lifeguard on Baywatch. And so if you ever see anything about Baywatch, you probably see her. But she's also appeared on Broadway, and she recently received a Golden Globe for her work in an indie film. So it's really awesome to see her actually blooming and doing stuff today, more past the expectations we expect of her in what she looks like in the picture. Recently, this is her. Now, she is the same age as me. She may be a little bit older, a couple months older. And she's just started a new movie. She's going to be in The Naked Gun with Liam Neeson. But what I really love about Pamela Anderson is that she is embracing her authentic self by not wearing makeup in Hollywood. And I was so inspired by her this week because I saw her in her interview on the Drew Barrymore show. And I don't watch talk shows, but I was so inspired by her that in this clip that I saw on Facebook that I wanted to share it today, because I think it's just a beautiful thing. You have this woman who in herself is beautiful as she is, but she had to appear differently on TV and in the theater. And so I wanted to share that with you, if you don't mind listening. It only takes maybe 2 minutes, but I'd like you to see what it is that she shares. And she is also on the show with Drew Barrymore and Valerie Bertinelli, and they met with Pamela Anderson, and neither one of them, Drew Barrymore or Valerie Bertinelli, are wearing makeup. They decided not to wear makeup in this interview, and I thought it was absolutely inspiring. So I'm going to share that with you. And like I said, it only takes a few minutes, so it's not really long. Thank you.
Doesn't it feel free? I mean, I feel free. I mean, it's taken a while too. I've had my little, journey with it, but I'm just like, we all are our own worst critics.
Well, when did you really start, embracing it, really feeling comfortable with it? I mean, because...
Well, it was at Paris Fashion Week, and I decided I was just going to a fashion show. I didn't need to compete with anybody. Like, why am I wasting 3 hours in a makeup chair when I have these beautiful Vivienne Westwood clothes on? And, I didn't realize anyone would even notice. So I thought, then when people started coming up to me and talking about it, I thought, well, this is a great message, This is to really peel it back and find out who I was again. I wanted to remember who I was. I found I played characters my whole life. I always wanted to be, I was painfully shy as a kid. And doing Playboy, for instance, was a huge leap of faith for me. It just, I was physically sick doing it, but I just didn't want to be shy anymore. And then I became, I just thought, well, this is what my fantasy of what a model is, or a playmate is, or a rock star wife is, or what anything is. I'm going to do it the best. And I've been playing these characters along the way, and it just hit me a couple of years ago, and I was like, just shaking my head going, who am I? And that's when I went home into my garden and started, planting things and getting into nature and going back to the trees that knew me since birth. I bought my grandmother's property and renovated it. And I just started taking it all back, and then started peeking out without makeup. And then I started realizing, oh, I feel great as me. Mm-hmm. And I don't want people to think of me as all those cartoon characters I kind of created for protection, or for, that's what I think I did it for, looking back. But this is the best time in my life. I feel so empowered and so free and so excited about life again.
It really is.
So why I showed that is because I wanted you to see that even though she has this persona that we see and we've known her for, and whether you follow her or you see her in the media or you watched her on a television show or whatever you've seen her, we always have this specific idea of what Pamela Anderson looks like. You know, we have this idea of this beautiful blonde woman running down the beach from Baywatch, and she's beautifully coiffed with her hair and her makeup's perfect and she looks wonderful. And even she says that she had created these characters in her life that made it so she was representing something that wasn't truly her. And how many times have you gone through life that you are not representing yourself in a true, authentic way? That you are still playing a role for someone else. So here at Unity, we know that living our truth and at our core, that we are all divine expressions of God. Each of us are uniquely expressed as God through us. And so we are on this planet uniquely as us. And we should really look for what it is, the divine inside of us, that true, authentic self that we have carried with us, to tell us who we truly are. And we need to allow that to shine without apology and without need for outside approval. And years ago, and I still struggle with this, but I remember a time where I was really wearing several different hats. So I was at work and I was the professional Lori. I was the minister Lori. I was the administrator Lori. I was the whatever Lori I was in that position I was working in. So I was always someone else. It's like I walk in that door, just like you wear a uniform, you put on that mask and you become that person. When I was at home, I was the mom Lori, or the husband Lori, or the responsible Lori. And then at church, I was the whatever my role was at the church at the time. So I could have been the volunteer coordinator, or I could have been the minister or the associate minister at the time, or whatever it was. I always had a role and I was always wearing a mask. But in private, well, that's something really different because I had kind of lost who I truly was. I didn't really know who I was when I was alone. And it caused some anxiety because I didn't feel like I had a role that I could embrace, someone that I could really attached myself to in the moment, because I hadn't really accepted my true self. You know, I was like one of those Russian nesting dolls, you know, those dolls that are nested inside the other, the layer after layer, you know, somewhere deep inside is that little teeny tiny doll at the very, very deep inside, waiting. That deep inside self was really waiting for permission to come out. And I think we've all felt like that. Have you ever felt like that you are kind of lost in your life, where you're not really expressing the way that you want to, and that you're kind of editing yourself based on the environment and the circumstances that you're in, and you don't feel like you can be who you truly are? So it's, for example, like me not wearing makeup today and me not doing my hair up today, I am going against what I normally would do for today. A minister looks a certain way. A minister wears makeup. A woman minister does her hair. She wears certain clothes. She presents in a certain way. She speaks a certain way. And I'm really kind of going against that. I did put earrings on though today. You know, I did go with that. But just as a social courtesy, I have donned that role. But today I kind of tossed it away. So I'm feeling a little vulnerable today because I'm representing myself as myself. But I think that's a really good stepping stone of being who I want to truly be in the world, not as something that is expected of me. You know, the way you present yourself in the world is going to be different no matter where you're going. So when you go to the grocery store, you're a different person than you are when you go to a job interview, or if you go to a friend's house and you go to their barbecue. When it becomes a habit for you to truly hide your authentic self, then you don't know exactly who you truly are. And you are afraid, and you kind of peek out, like she was talking about in the interview. She was peeking out. She was peeking out to see if it was okay. And we need to realize that we can be accepted for who we truly are. And we should probably be advocates for that in the world. I would love to see the change in the world where women don't have to be who they don't want to be. There's an expectation in our society and in every culture of what people are supposed to look like. And wouldn't it be nice if we could just be accepted for who we truly are and not what society or culture tells us what we need to be? So we need to become advocates for ourselves and to be able to express that divine center that's within us, to allow that express us through us truly. And I'm not saying you can't wear makeup and you can't wear earrings and you can't wear nice clothes, because I love to do that too on occasion. But if it's a choice that I make, not because I'm expected to look that way, that is something that I love. And so making sure that we feel empowered to be who we truly are. In unity, we affirm our true Christ's identity, that we are that divine within. And I'm not talking about Jesus Christ as in, his name. I'm talking about that divine presence when I say the Christ presence. And it's the seed of that divine self, that God connection, that eternal self that's within. And it was Eric Butterworth who said, "You are not becoming, you are unfolding." You're not trying to be spiritual. You are spiritual. You are the expression of God, and your purpose is to let that expression be free. So I'm going back to those nesting dolls again. That little doll that's in the middle of all those other dolls, you need to allow that little doll to express, to set that doll free and allow it to be exactly who it needs to be in the world. And that's it. Being authentic isn't about creating yourself. It's about revealing yourself. Michelangelo was talking about when he sculpted the beautiful sculpture David out of marble. He said, "I chipped away everything that wasn't David." So he allowed David to emerge from the marble as he was working. So in the same way, our spiritual journeys aren't about adding more layers or becoming the masks that people are asking us to wear, or the performance that we're supposed to let people see on a daily basis. It's about being courageous. It's about gently encouraging and letting go of what isn't truly us, so that Christ nature, that divine spark within us, can shine without being obstructed. But let's be honest, it's not easy. It's not easy work at all to be authentic. That takes some serious courage. In a world we're asked to fit in, to get approval, to play it safe, to stay within the lines. And we get messages that are sometimes subtle and sometimes really loud about who we should be, about how we should behave, and what's acceptable and what's not. And I grew up in an environment where you had to keep peace to prove your worth. So we had to be quiet, and we had to be exactly what we needed to be in order to keep the peace, and to hide myself in order to feel like I was safe from ridicule or blame. And it's important to remember that that's not your authentic self. That is the mask that you put on to keep yourself safe, if that was you in an environment in your home as you were growing up. And sometimes that mask is there to protect you from being afraid. It was the Buddha that said, "There is no fear for one whose mind is not filled with desires." And I think one of those desires that he's talking about is the craving for approval. We fear that if we show up as who we truly are, some people will reject us. And you know what? Some probably will. In fact, they most likely will. Some will reject you. But here is the real truth. If they're rejecting the masks that you've been wearing, if they accept that as your true self, and if they reject the new person that you've become, then they never really knew who you were to begin with, because they were always seeing what they wanted you to be and not who you truly wanted to be. So when I catch myself slipping into the old habits of self-editing, so I do that a lot. And so when I'm speaking, I'm always like, oh my gosh, 3 seconds later, I'm like, should I said that? Should I have said this instead? And you're always catching yourself. But when I see myself doing that, I try to ask myself, is that the Christ nature within me? Or is that coming from my fear, that fear of rejection? And it's a small but powerful check-in I try to do on a regular basis. And sometimes I realize, I'm holding back because I don't want to be different. I don't want to be rejected. Or other times when I don't say anything and I hold back, it's because it's coming from a place of wisdom and I choose to be that way. So I want to make sure that I'm being authentic. If I'm sitting in a place and I'm holding back and I'm being quiet, I'm doing it with intention. And it's not about everything that I'm feeling or everything that I'm doing. It's about, and it's not all about me, but it also means that I need to show up authentically and I want to be the example, and I'm aligning with those deep truths that we teach here at Unity. And part of us needs to remember each and every day and each and every moment that we are grounded in love and integrity and compassion. And that's where we come from. And to be in alignment with that integrity, we need to be in alignment with who we truly are. It was the Sufi mystic Rumi. He said, try to accept the changing seasons of your heart, even as you have always accepted the changing seasons that pass over your fields. And when I hear that, it says to me that I'm giving myself permission to evolve. In each season of my life, I am different than the season before. And that is absolutely necessary for evolution. So my authentic self may look different than it did before. And I'm not wearing that mask anymore. And that's okay. That's what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to move forward. And we're supposed to grow. Even in the Bible, it says the kingdom of God is within you. And that is the cornerstone of Unity's truth, really, is that we do not have to search outside ourselves for approval or to be accepted or to be worthy. That the kingdom of God, that divine spark, is within us all the time. We do not need to look for validation outside of ourselves. It's all within us, always available, and all we have to do is just go within and accept who we truly are. And it was Thich Nhat Hanh. If you don't know who Thich Nhat Hanh was, he was a Buddhist teacher. He says, the most precious gifts we can offer others is our presence. When mindfulness embraces those we love, they will bloom like flowers. So when we are authentically present, when we are awake, and when we are not in a hurry, then people can really recognize that. And they know exactly what it is that they want from you. And in that moment, they want to be with you, your true authentic self, because, even though you have the mask that you wear, if you are present and you're awake and you're authentically not hurried and not moving around in a space that seems frenetic, definitely they feel it. Have you ever had anybody come to you and say, you know what, I'm just called to talk to you, or I just like to, just be with you? It's because you're holding on to that divine presence within, and you're expressing through yourself authentically, and they can feel that. They can see beyond the mask that you're wearing. So another barrier to authenticity is comparison. We see ourselves oftentimes comparing ourselves to what we see in the media, what we see on Facebook. We look and see, oh my gosh, I don't look like that, or oh, I wish my hair was like that, or oh, I wish I had glasses like that, or I wish I didn't have to wear glasses, or whatever it was. We're always comparing. So Comparisons, though, we know that they take away our joy. I just wanted to let that sink in. When you're comparing yourself to other people, it's taking away your joy because it's taking away from who you truly are authentically. No one can express exactly like you. Your wisdom, your humor, your experiences, all the cute little quirks that you carry and bring into this world, you are uniquely you. Myrtle Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, said, "Be yourself, for there is no one else who can fill your place." And like Pamela Anderson was saying in the interview, isn't it freeing that you are not here to copy anyone else, that you are here to be truly you? And that should be a ticket to freedom for most people. And we spend our lives just trying to be accepted, trying to be allowed to be part of the group. And you know what? Sometimes being part of the group that you want to belong to is the group who accepts you for who you truly are. And so if they don't accept you for who you truly are, maybe you should rethink being part of that group. So how do we move through this from theory? Because I can talk about it all day about how we should and could and maybe and if we did this, but how do we move from theory to practice? How do we really implement this in our lives so we can actually show up in the world as our true selves? Well, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, I talked about being in silence. And so that time of silence allows us to get into meditation. And when we get into meditation, we become mindful. And when we become mindful, we start to recognize what's truly part of us and what isn't. We start to separate what isn't us, and we become connected what is true for us. So it's that still small voice within. It's that authentic self that gets more clear when we are in the space of silence and meditation. Another thing we need to do is when we're in a space, when we're with other people, we need to notice if we feel off. Have you ever walked into a room and you kind of just feel like, I shouldn't be here. There's something not right here. Well, it could be that it's like, maybe I don't feel like I can express properly here. Or maybe the energy here doesn't match mine. And so these things are really important. And when we start to feel that we are off and we're not, feeling our authentic self, that we feel like we're forcing ourselves to be there, that's a sign that we're out of alignment and that we need to either one, decide whether this is an important place to be, or two, to find out why we're not in alignment. What is it and why is it that we're feeling the way that we're feeling? What can we do to uncover our true selves in this situation? Another thing that we do, and as people, as human beings, we may not tell little lies, but we don't always tell the truth. So we may keep our mouth shut when we want to say something, or we may just sit back and just let somebody else speak. And so we need to practice little opportunities of telling the truth. So it could be as simple as saying, I'm not a really big fan of coffee. Can I have tea instead? Or little things like that. Maybe, I prefer not to go to the movie today. Can we go maybe to a park and maybe have a conversation? These are things that allow you to speak your truth without offending anybody. And if you are offending people, rethink who you are spending time with, because they shouldn't be offended by your authentically speaking your mind, even if it's just a little thing like, let's get a bagel instead of a croissant at the store. So surround yourself with safe people. That goes without saying. You want to find your tribe, somewhere where you feel accepted for who you truly are, because not everyone is safe for authenticity. So choose wisely. Make sure that you are looking for your tribe and people that will accept you for who you truly are. And then if they don't accept you, and if you're in a place where they don't accept that authentic self and they want you to be something else and that doesn't work for them, bless and release them. If someone can accept that real you, it doesn't make you less worthy. It makes them not the right fit for you. And so release them in love, allow them to move on, and you go on knowing that you are being who you are, that you don't have to pretend to be someone you're not. You know, I once worked with someone who told me about a time when she was working with Unity Principles, and she was meditating, and she went to a meeting, and someone said to her that she felt that she was being judged when she went to talk to about this stuff at work. So she never said anything about what she was doing in her spiritual life, about meditation and how she was doing that on a regular basis. But she went to a meeting, and there was a person who spoke up and said, you know, I'm just so burned out. And then without thinking, she said, well, you know what helps me? I meditate. And she was like, oh my gosh, I said this out loud in this circumstance that I don't feel like they'll be accepted. And she was really accepting this awkward silence from all her coworkers. But after the meeting, one of her coworkers came up to her and said, you know, I've been looking into that. Do you think that's something that'd help? I'd really like to talk to you about that. So when you show up authentically, it allows other people to show up as their authentic selves too, and be able to be courageous and brave, and to drop their fear and maybe explore something that they didn't explore before, and to find their tribe as well. So your authentic self is not something you have to earn. Okay, I just want you to know that you are perfectly worthy the way that you are. Listening to that song previously, you are already enough. You don't have to earn any of that. Your birthright is that you're a child of God. You have the divine space within you, that Christ consciousness. You were born with it, and you will be here into the next incarnation with it. And so living authentically is a spiritual practice. It's something you connect with on a daily basis. And it takes courage. It takes self-awareness. And it sometimes takes a sense of humor when you're up against somebody that totally doesn't understand you. How many people have you met that looked at you like you were speaking a different language? Yeah. And that's okay. You have to take that and let it like roll off your back and just say, hey, that is who I am. Take it or leave it. And you're going to make mistakes, but you'll learn. The more you do it, the more you show up authentically, the more you are embracing who you truly are. And every time you choose your truth over fear, you are living in that Christ consciousness, that Christ-centeredness within you, and you're allowing yourself to be more authentically you. Howard Thurman, he was a mystic. He said, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. So this week and moving forward, I'd like you to notice when you're holding back. Where are you editing yourself? Where are you dimming your own light? And then ask yourself, what would my authentic self do here? And then do it. Do it with love, doing it with presence, doing it with self-compassion, and do it with trust that God knows who you are and knows exactly who you've been since you were born and why you're here. And that is more than enough. That is what you're here to be, and express it. Remember who you are and take the time to find that on a daily basis. So I want to thank you for listening to me and my talk today about your authentic self. We're going to go into meditation. It's going to help you get centered in that space within so you can find that space where you're authentically you. So give me a moment to pull that up. Make sure I'm sharing the sounds as I'd like. Moving this out of the way. All right. Let's begin by finding a comfortable position. Feet planted gently on the floor, or resting back if you need to. Allow your hands to rest in your lap with palm facing upward in openness and reception, or downward for grounding. Whatever feels most natural for you today. Allow your eyes to close softly, or lower your gaze if that feels better. Take a slow, gentle breath in and release it fully. Another breath in and let it go. Let each breath be a quiet invitation to arrive here in this sacred now. Bring your awareness to the top of your head. Imagine a warm, soft light beginning to flow down over you. With each slow breath, feel this light releasing any tension in your forehead, around your eyes, or in your jaw. Let your shoulders drop, feeling any weight you've been carrying melt away. Your breath stays easy, relaxed. And feel this relaxation flow down your arms, your chest, your back, all the way down to your legs and into your feet. Now in your mind's eye, imagine that in front of you is a small table. And on this table are the masks you've worn in different settings. The professional mask, the people pleaser mask, the I'm fine mask. Maybe even the spiritual mask you wear when you don't feel ready to show your true struggles. One by one, you see yourself gently lifting each mask from your face and placing it on the table. Feel the space open up in your body as you set them down. With each mask that's released, you breathe a little deeper. You feel a little lighter. Notice the sense of freedom as you let go of these coverings. They are not who you are. Bring your hand gently to the center of your chest, over your heart space. Feel the natural rhythm of your breath rising and falling beneath your hand. Imagine that with each inhale, you're drawing in pure love. And with each exhale, you're releasing any last remnants of fear or self-doubt. Breathe in love and let go on the out breath. You can picture this breath as light, golden, warm, radiant, filling your heart space more and more with each inhale. Now gently let go of the words and rest in the silence. Open to the presence of the Christ within you, the pure, unchanging truth of who you are. And as we come to the end of this meditation, notice the stillness that remains in you, even as the sounds of the room begin to return. Gently bring your awareness back to your breath, breathing in gratitude for this time of release and connection. Breathing out peace, knowing your authentic self is enough exactly as you are. You can bring some gentle movement back to your body, feeling yourself fully present again in this space. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes and bring the light of your Christ nature into the rest of your day. As we come out of this meditation, I would like to hear the words of psychologist Gabor Mate. He has this wonderful saying talking about your authentic self and uncovering your authentic self. So I'd like to end today, as we're coming out of meditation, with his words.
Did you sometimes know that you're not being authentic? Because I sure did. Well, here's the question. Who inside us knows? Only that authentic self. That's always there. And so I say to people, don't try and look for the authentic self. Just notice when you're not authentic. Just notice when you're not saying no. When there's a no that wants to be said, just see where you're not saying yes. But there's a yes that wants to be said inside you. Notice the impact on you when you don't assert your true self. How do you feel afterwards? So notice the difficulty being authentic and ask yourself, well, what is the belief that I'm carrying that if I'm authentic, then what?
I want to thank you for being here and listening to my talk today. Now is the opportunity for you to comment or question or discuss what it was that we talked about today. Curtis?
You're muted.